Hi, I'm Mrs. Allen from Daniel Wirtz, and I would like to work with you on some reading skills today. First of all, let's take a moment to get our brains back into the green zone. Let's calm our minds so that we're ready to listen to a story. I'd like for you to close your eyes. Think about all of the sounds that you hear. How many of you heard a beach? How many of you heard the waves rolling in? How many of you heard the birds? Well, today we're going to work on a story where we can practice our retelling skills. The story is about a little boy who goes to the beach with his family, and once he's there, they build a sandcastle. While you're listening to the story, I want you to think about three things. First of all, I want you to think about, is the dragon real or is the dragon just his imagination? I'd also would like for you to give me a thumbs up if something in the story can really happen, or a thumbs down if it really can't happen. Let's take a minute to listen to this story called When a Dragon Moves In. Oops, let's go back.
Welcome to Storyline Online, brought to you by the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. My name is Mark Duplass, and today we're going to be reading you the great book, When a Dragon Moves In, written by Jody Moore and illustrated by Howard McWilliam. If you build a perfect sandcastle, a dragon will move in. He'll settle in all cozy and peep at you from inside. And you'll wonder how you ever got so lucky. With a dragon in your castle, you'll have a built-in marshmallow toaster, your very own raft, and a kite that practically flies by itself. Best of all, no beach bully would dare stomp your castle with a dragon inside. Of course, there are rules on the beach, so you'll have to hide his smoke from the lifeguard and erase the dragon prints from the sand. Eventually, you'll want to share the great news with your family. "There's a dragon in my castle!" you'll call to your mom. "Mm-hmm," she'll answer. "Listen to him roar," you'll say. "I hear the roar of the ocean," she'll reply. "See this feather from my dragon's wing?" you'll ask your dad. "That's a nice seagull feather," he'll say. "And you know what feathers are good for." "Feel my dragon's sharp teeth," you'll shout. "Those are just broken shells," your big sister will say. But you and your dragon will know better. Just about then, your dragon will demand to be fed. First, he'll eat all the peanut butter sandwiches, even the ones that were supposed to be for your sister. Then his fiery snout will make the lemonade sizzle. stop blowing bubbles in your drink, your mom will say. That wasn't me, you'll answer. That was the dragon. And you'll hear a from deep inside the sandcastle. Finally, since dragons love dessert, he'll slink into the family cooler and nibble the brownies when no one is looking. Whose fingerprints are in the brownies? Your dad will ask. Not fingerprints, you'll try to explain. Dragon prints. There's no such thing as a dragon, your sister will say. Then your dragon will snicker again and spray sand all over her. Young man, I don't think this is funny, your mom will say. That wasn't me, you'll answer. It was the dragon. I think we've had enough of this dragon business, your dad will say. I guess I've had enough of this dragon business too, you'll sigh. Then you'll march over to your sandcastle and order your dragon to leave until he learns some manners. And you will vow never to build a perfect sandcastle again. At least until tomorrow. The end.
All right, so do you think that dragon was really real? Let's think about some other things as well. When we hear a story or read a story, we need to be able to retell it. So if you were going to retell this story to somebody in your family, what would you say? Here is an easy way to remember the things to say. If you take your hand and talk about the 5-finger rule for retelling. The first part is our thumb. That is the setting of the story, where the story takes place. The index finger tells you where the characters are, or who the characters are in the story. Then our middle finger tells us what the problem in the story was, or what went wrong in the story, what needed to be fixed. The ring finger tells us all of the events that happened in the story, and then our pinky is how the characters solved the problem. So let's think about our story. Think about the settings, the characters, what was the problem, what were the events in the story, what happened, and what was the solution. So take a thinking moment. Great. The characters in the story were the boy and his family, and maybe the dragon. The setting was at the, you got it right, at the beach. Now, what do you think the problem was in the story? This is kind of a tricky one. Yeah, I think it was. The little boy maybe got a little bit too excited and started doing some things that he shouldn't have been doing at the beach, like blowing bubbles in his drink, and he ate all of the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and he got into the brownies, and then he got sand all over his sister. So how did that boy solve his problem? What did he do? You're right. He had to take a calm down moment. He had to send that dragon away. So if you were going to retell the story, those are the important things you need to talk about when you tell somebody in your family the story. Next, I want to talk about another area of the story. Let's think. When the boy was blowing bubbles in his lemonade, was the dragon blowing the bubbles, or was it just the boy? Think about when the boy ate all of the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and the dragon ate all of the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Did that really happen? Did the dragon really eat them? What about the brownies? Was it really the dragon, or was it just the boy? Is he just blaming it on himself? What about this one where the boy scooped all of the sand up on his sister? Look, the dragon's doing it, but is the dragon really real? So in every story, we have characters and setting. We have a problem, a solution, and events. But there's also something in the middle that we call the moral of the story or the lesson in the story. What was the author trying to teach us in the story? What do you think the author was trying to teach you in this story? Take a thinking moment. Do you think the moral in the story was to be prepared? Do you think the moral was to be honest? Or do you think the moral was to be part of a family? You got it. It was to be honest. Was the boy honest every time his mom or dad asked him, "Who got in the brownies? Don't blow bubbles in your lemonade." Was he honest, or did he blame it on somebody else? So even if we make mistakes or we get too riled up or get too excited, don't blame it on somebody else. Just calm your inner dragon. One last thing before we go today, I have a challenge for you. I would like for you to try to build a castle. A castle can be made with lots of things that you might have at home. See if you can build your tallest castle. You could use things like red Solo cups or any kind of plastic cup at home. You could use a deck of playing cards. You could even use Legos or index cards. I brought some cups with me and I brought a deck of cards, but you could use anything that you have at home. Once you have it built, measure it and then try to build it even taller than the first time. Let me see what pictures you can make or what kinds of castles you can make. Today's code word is imagination. Have a great afternoon.